All right, we're about to pull back the curtain on a world most of us only ever see in the movies. We're going to build a spy's guide to reality using the absolutely explosive testimony of a former CIA officer and whistleblower, John Kiriakou.
So let's just jump right in with a quote that's going to make you look at your car a little differently. And no, this isn't science fiction. Kiriakou says that intelligence agencies have had this capability for a long time to remotely hijack your car's computer. It's a pretty chilling place to start, and it really sets the stage for what's possible in modern surveillance.
And that leads us straight into our first section. Your life is an open book. We're going to dig into how that digital privacy we all think we have, well, it might just be an illusion.
Now, you might think this is all futuristic stuff, right? No. According to Kiriakou, this is old news. He points to the Vault 7 WikiLeaks from way back in 2017 as proof. We're talking about your smart TV being turned into a hot mic, dozens of countries having the ability to intercept your phone's data and your metadata. You know, who you call, when you call them, for how long. That can just be bought. No warrant needed.
So what's the big takeaway here? According to Kiriakou, it's pretty simple. When you're up against a state-level intelligence agency, our whole idea of digital security kind of goes out the window. In his world, nothing is truly secret. Your digital life is a permanent record, and it's all potentially out there.
Okay, so we've covered the tech, but what about the people? That's what really makes this world turn. So for part 2, let's get into the spy's playbook and the psychology of what makes someone betray everything they know.
See, it's not random at all. There's a system. It's called the asset acquisition cycle. Step 1, you spot someone with access to information you want. Then you assess them. Are they the right fit? The next phase, develop, can take years. It's all about building a real relationship. And only after all that, when the trust is there, do you recruit. You make the pitch.
And this quote just shows you how powerful that develop phase is. Kiriakou tells this incredible story about recruiting an al-Qaeda fighter. It wasn't about threats or money. It was about simple human connection. The guy's vulnerability was just loneliness. Being the first person in 5 years to ask about his family, well, that's what opened the door.
But you know, for all the power of human emotion, Kiriakou says internal CIA studies show a much colder reality. For a staggering 95% of people who turn spy, it's just about the money. It's a business transaction. All that other stuff you see in the movies, ideology, love, revenge, the thrill of it all, that's just the other 5%.
And this is where things take a really dark turn. Welcome to a world of hidden truths, where Kiriakou's testimony paints a picture of a place where the lines between what's legal, what's moral, and what's ethical just get erased.
Just take a look at this timeline for waterboarding. It's pretty wild. Kiriakou points out that in 1946, the U.S. literally executed Japanese soldiers for doing this. In '68, an American soldier got 20 years in prison for it, and yet by 2002, he claims the U.S. government just decided to redefine a war crime as official policy, basically because, hey, we're the good guys.
And then you have something like Project MKUltra. I mean, this stuff sounds like it's made up, but it was a real documented CIA program of illegal experiments. We're talking about testing biological weapons on American cities, dosing U.S. citizens with LSD without them even knowing, using prostitutes to lure guys into safe houses to be drugged and studied, all in the name of figuring out mind control. And the craziest part? We will probably never know the whole story. The CIA director at the time ordered every single file on the program destroyed. The only reason we know anything at all is that about 15% of the documents survived, purely by accident.
Kiriakou also talks about how state-sanctioned assassination just became another part of the bureaucracy. He describes the kill list, a list of terror suspects that was apparently reviewed and approved for killing in what he calls Tuesday morning meetings at the White House. It became routine.
So when you hear about this world operating in the shadows, it forces you to look at some of modern history's biggest mysteries in a new light, right? Like the whole Jeffrey Epstein case. Was he just a rich criminal, or was there something else going on?
Well, Kiriakou has a very specific theory on this one. He believes Epstein was working as an Israeli access agent. He claims that while most spy agencies don't really do extortion, the Russians and Israelis are known for it. The logic is simple. You can't recruit a prince or a billionaire, but you can recruit someone who has access to them and then use blackmail to get what you want.
So how does all these secret operations and hidden truths fit into the bigger global picture? Well, that brings us to our final section, the new great game, a spy's perspective on world power today.
So here you have two completely different approaches to being a superpower. Kiriakou paints the U.S. strategy as being all about military might, direct intervention. China, on the other hand, plays a different game. They use their massive trade surplus to build roads, airports, and hospitals all over the world, gaining influence through economic dependency.
And if you want to see what he means by that military approach, just look at the numbers. It's staggering. The U.S. military budget is over $1 trillion a year. That's more than the next 8 biggest spending countries combined. Kiriakou's argument is that this is simply bankrupting the nation.
See, every country has its signature move, its playbook. Kiriakou says Russia's specialty is sleeper agents. China's is economic and tech theft. But he calls the Israelis the most ruthless of all. In his words, they're willing to blow up the entire city block and kill 1,000 innocent people just to get one target.
So what does all this international gamesmanship mean for right here at home? Well, Kiriakou gives an estimate. 60,000. That's the number of foreign and domestic intelligence officers he believes are operating inside the United States right now.
And all of this leads to a really unsettling conclusion. In a world with total surveillance, combined with what he calls overcriminalization, basically anyone can be made a target. He cites this book, 3 Felonies a Day, that argues the average person commits multiple felonies every single day without even knowing it. So if they decide they want you, they can probably get you.
So we're going to leave you with one last thought to chew on. Based on Kiriakou's numbers, the statistics suggest that the average person meets about 1 spy a year. The world of espionage isn't some far-off thing, it's right here, hidden in plain sight. So the final question is, who was yours?